like say, you know, if you want to come after elected officials, that's fine. I have no problem with that. That's what we're here for. But when it starts reflecting on our staff that they are doing something improper, when actually so many of these things were posted, and I mentioned Facebook when I spoke last time. I wasn't hacking on the whole Facebook. Yeah, we already, and I'm not hacking on the use of these sites. All I would like to see is before something's posted, I would like to see a little research done. Bruce said it straight that he would also, from now on, anything he posted, he would document where it came from, which is great. But there's many sources this is coming from, and I just it's rolling. It's a pretty big fire. There's based on misinformation, and I'm just wondering if we want to answer some of these on some of these questions where the public has been misinformed on what the city's actually doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard some more things about that, about how the city is going to have to remove Facebook. And I would suggest that they look at the U.S. Constitution before we can probably do that. I'm sure the federal government could remove somebody from Facebook. I mean, that's just Facebook rules maybe just a private number. The city has no intention of it. The thought of it is ridiculous. But these things get started, I think. But you're talking about just the
I'd like to see there's been items. Most recently, we had the issue with the recycling bins. We've had, there's been several different issues that have been brought up, and I wonder if we wanted to come up with a list of those issues that have been where there's been misinformation out there, and come up with the appropriate answers to those, and create a press release.
That's how I'd like to see it addressed.
I just have a question. In a timely manner, how would we address it? We had numerous calls yesterday from Corral owners stating that, I'll throw the name out there, that Bruce Fetterstrom contacted her and said the city was going to shut down the city of Corrals. So how do we squelch that? That went, I think we got 3 or 4 calls. This is the first I heard about it, man. So on a timely manner, are we going to wait and do it 2 weeks from now, or how do we do that? We had phone calls came in over the mayor addressed it tonight over the dialysis center, that it was the building inspector's fault. The old rectory, it was the building inspector's fault. Stop everything. What's a quick way to remedy this? You're getting these ladies and myself answering the phones, and what are we supposed to say? We're going to talk about it 2 weeks later. Meanwhile, the rumors are running crazy.
Well, let's issue a press release in next week's paper.
Well, I don't see how you can make a press release without a city council meeting, because who's going to approve what's said? And if you're not going to, the business is supposed to come in front of the city council. The city council will decide. One member cannot speak for the city council without being voted on by the city council.
That's the state law. Speak on behalf of the city council.
Mark, Shane, can I finish? The second thing, I think it's a waste of city revenue to do this. We keep talking. It's been brought up that we're not a rich city. Our efforts should be put elsewhere. This happens all the time. You can turn on the TV in any city you want and see all the misinformation. And the more you talk about it, it doesn't go away. It just gets bigger.
No, I think it's an election year. It's a campaigning election year. A lot of things happen. We don't like them. Naturally, I don't like people attacking the city. I think they want to attack somebody, go after the candidate they're running against. But it is their opinion, even though it might be twisted to their advantage, and I've seen that. But it is their opinion. And, there's a lot of ways to address it, but, are we going to get into that kind of battle? I think after the election, I think a lot of that will calm down until the next election, then it will start again. For example, I was invited to be on the Audrey Clark's Facebook, and I was on the program, and I just didn't see where it was going anywhere. And to me, it was really, with all due respect, it's Bruce Fetterstrom for City Council. I can talk about a lot of things, but I'm not just mayor of the city, and as a councilman, and I think you remove yourself from it too. I'm not going to get on there and try to debate people over Facebook. I'm just not going to do it. And there are a lot of crazy things that are said. And so I just simply remove myself. It's like, I don't don't like what's on this channel. What's the channel? And that's what I chose to do.
Well, if we're not going to move ahead, I would at least like to appeal to the folks that are on these sites, to people in the new media, clarify. When you hear a statement made, research it, call the city. There's been so many statements made, the city did this, it's the city's fault that, this. Call the city. Get the answers. We can tell you exactly what the situation is. I would just appeal to the public to ask the question before it gets reported inaccurately.
No, I agree with that. And, otherwise, I just don't. It's still America. And it's a campaign year, and it's a nasty campaign. Since I've been in the it's the worst I've ever seen as far as negative goes. But it's one of those things that's going to happen. We have to live with that. And it might be a bitter pill to swallow, but it's still a pill I think is
Very good.
Public comment on that?
no matter. It was not for public comment. If you can comment at the end of the meeting, you have public comment.
But it's this particular issue of no good public relations, and
Ma'am,
keep
you
your
can
mouth shut
comment.
and don't talk or get thrown out.
You can comment.
Hey,
at
you know
the
the
end
sheriff
of
knows to send me his best looking officer so I can be escorted out by him.
You can comment at the end of the meeting. So, okay, then I would assume we're having no action on this. Or if you want to make a motion.
Where do you want to go?
It's an election year, and there's a lot of, I just want to say this, I'm one of the candidates, so I'm not going to speak a lot on this subject, because I don't want people to think I'm campaigning up here, but it just seems like we can keep a campaign up, that's just going to be my comment on that. It's really ridiculous, the city's had to go through a lot.
Can we respond on Facebook?
You can, if you
Why
choose.
don't you don't say that you're representing the city?
Well, I didn't say that. He's talking about a way to get back at these comments that are made. And what do? Do we sit still or do we reply to this?
That's what I was asking. Do we want to answer?
I would say as a candidate, you will launch in one of your advertising for us. Yeah, that was recommend going on
You can keep up
Facebook.
with it, you could keep up with that, if you try to keep up with this, you could. It's impossible.
We've noticed that
It is.
we appeal to people's better judgment. Let's move on.
With that, we'll go to number 13, council advisory discussion, possible action, consideration to hire independent counsel to commit 3 ethics violations by Councilman Marty Weston to the Nevada Attorney General's office. And the person saying that said that we haven't put this in the thing, but I assume you're going to address what goes on.
I have the issues here. We have, and Jim has some copies there available as well. These issues were brought to my attention by some folks in the public. The first two, on the first one on our meeting of November 17th, 2011, was brought to my attention. We were discussing the Wilser fees, waiving Wilser fees and water connections for the expansion at the La Quinta Hotel. And it brought to my attention that Mr. Westland at that time was the owner of the piece of property adjacent to that, did not disclose that he was an affected property owner. And this was something that would affect the value of his property as well, and he took action without disclosure on that. The second item, we do have the minutes in the packet for your review on that. The second item was from the minutes of December 20th, 2012, when we were looking at the Avenue A plan. And again, the same situation. Mr. Westland was involved in the discussion and voted on the item. on how to move forward with that as an adjacent and affected property owner without disclosure. And the third item was one that happened on April 18th, was a letter in regards to the issue with Keith Carson on the Parker Street project. Mr. Westland, after we voted to not take action on that, Mr. Westland wanted that back on the agenda. Came to Kevin, found the city procedure policy, as has always been followed through Robert's Rules of Order, did not allow for him to re-agenda that. It had to be agendaed by someone who had voted in the affirmative on the motion to put that back on, and he was not able to. And subsequently, he wrote the enclosed letter to Kevin, which I feel was a very threatening letter and put a lot of pressure on an appointed city official for doing his job. And I feel that this was really an egregious letter. I feel that it was not properly thought out, and I believe that this is an ethics violation as well. When we had this issue with the previous mayor, we did not. It's not an issue for our attorney to handle. We hired an outside attorney to go through this, investigate it, and determine if these met the standards of an ethics complaint, and then file that complaint on behalf of us as a council. I'd like to see these looked into on behalf of the public, and I'd like to see us hire a local attorney to look into this and present this back to the findings and the recommendation whether or not to go forward with an official ethics complaint.
Discussion.
Well, first, I think part of the problem is two councilmen don't get along. That's fairly evident since Marty's been on the council. I think if Councilman Bybee wants to file these complaints, he can do so by himself. He doesn't need an attorney to file. He can file by himself. Second of all, why waste the money as an attorney, outside attorney, when the city already has competent legal staff? If he doesn't feel qualified to do it, then I feel our attorney, if that's what passes, he should pay for it himself. Our contract says that our attorney provides legal services to the city. Does not specify anything in his contract that if he can't provide it, the city is going to provide other service.
Well, as our attorney received the letter that I feel was the violation, I don't think it would be very fair to have our attorney be the one to review this and issue the complaint.
And I wasn't mayor then, but that was the way it was done before, the former mayor. And he was found guilty.
That has nothing to do with this.
Well, I'm just saying that's what.
But that was the same procedure that was used the last time. I make a motion and we do it this time.
Don't second our money.
Is there any other discussion?
I would like to just comment, since I am the subject of one of the issues there. I didn't know that this was going to be one of the issues until just right before the meeting today. I did respond to Marty when he sent this to me, and I sent a copy of that to each of you. And in fact, it was after that he then requested that I provide each of you a copy of this letter. That was Marty's request, and so I did that. Since then, I think that my relationship with Marty has gotten better. I haven't had an issue with him since this issue, and so I just think that you guys need to know that as you're discussing that, since that is one of the issues that you're stating.
I don't feel that makes it right. I feel if you're going to put that pressure on one employee, it could happen or it would happen to the next employee, and I don't think it's the right tact in a workplace.
I feel that the first two were pretty clear at this violation. I mean, that when you vote on something that affects your financial. The third one, I'm not sure that's a great spot there. I don't know why I think it's a great one. But anyway, you made the motion, you seconded it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
somebody that,
Do my best.
okay, number 14, council members typically call it, discussion, possible action, adoption of, section 2.21, addressing grooming for inclusion, in the city of Ely personal policy manual. What exactly is it?
We feel like this policy just needs to be enhanced a little bit. It hasn't been looked at since I think it was put out there. So we just clarified outside office environment, inside office environment. Some of it is to actually protect the employees from sunburn, possible sexual harassment claims, cover up a little bit. So we just want to put some of that in there. And we groomed it after another agency here in the city, and they don't seem to have policy to be working well. They just want to enhance it a little bit. We ran through tactical, they didn't seem to have faults or a problem with it.
Well, this would be something to be put on the, because we are reviewing that now. I mean, certain level of codes on it.
But that's not, well,
It's a little different.
yeah, it's just different. We have a dress code in the policy right now that is very vague.
I told, we had the clerk up at the municipal court that requested that I mention this, because she saw this and reviewed it, and she asked if I would ask that for the office environment, that we would include capris, particularly for the days that she is not in court. It would be nice if she could wear capris in the office. So she wanted me to bring that up, so.
I think it was clarified by Janet.
She did contact me also, so I told her that I felt we would throw that out there and just add it as one of the other items that would be acceptable.
So add capris in an office environment?
Yeah.
Is that for just women, or is that for men and women?
Now we can make it to
I just wondered if Jim would want to wear his main capris.
I'm not sure what exactly. You're saying loosen it up or tighten it up?
Well, in some of the environments we don't need low-cut blouses, sleeveless shirts. It's just too much of an exposure.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
And it's causing you some grief out there.
So you're talking about tightening the dress code?
Tightening.
Tightening.
And some of them are for safety issues as well.
Any discussion on this? And I'll put my foot on that.
I make a motion we approve the new dress code, including capris for the office environment. Give us words.
Does anyone want to say? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Move on to number 15. Council members, city clerk, all words, discussion, possible action, amendments to section 6.2.4, use of the annual leave, all of these, not thinking party, and the city of Ely personnel policy manual. Okay, what is it now? What do you want?
Right now, it's a 7 days notice. There was discussion whether it takes the 14 days notice to your supervisor or the 30. But I believe it's in there at 30. But I have had 3 employees call and say 30 days they felt was too long of a forecast if their emergency type vacation they needed to be used. So that's just good.
Well, we have a policy that the vacation days have to be used.
No, that's not notification. You have to give 7 days notice to your supervisor.
Yeah.
And we want to look at expand that to get better management of the overtime and make sure the schedules are going to be filled.
I don't think 14 days is long enough for some of the departments. I mean, if you want to shorten it from 30 to 21 days, 14 is too short.
Like everywhere I work, I had to do my work in the game. I had to put in for mine like a month. You know, they wanted to know the numbers. They're all over. There was a deal. And,
I think 21.
Is this for the bulk of the rain? Can they put in for a workshop and annual meeting?
or whatever, they have to take 4-hour minimums of vacation.
They only have to give us Saturdays.
Well, if it was an emergency situation, that's.
Well, yeah,
No,
emergency,
emergency.
yeah, something like that.
Their family leave or their
Emergency supervisors.
I think that's the way it's
Is
written.
there a clause
Right, Kevin?
for that?
I guess we should not be having free conversations.
Councilman Sludge asked if there was a clause in there. There is, the supervisors have the discretion of emergency. It's not gonna hurt their, all vacation may be granted at the discretion of the city. It's up to the city to say, yeah, you can go or when you can't because of your immediate job.
But I guess if a supervisor was misusing the emergency aspect of that and causing financial hardship to the city, that would be brought before the city council, I'm sure.
Okay. You know, we're talking now 14 days or 21 days or 30 days?
I think I'd rather have 21 days, just because 14, because the way some of the cycles run would be, not effective. I move we change it to 21 days. This includes all employees, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay. And for Shane to get back here.
Give the supervisors a chance to schedule.
Well, no. Hey, you got back just in time for a vote.
Grandma always said, better to hold the phone than get a kidney stone.
We made a motion for 21 days.
Yeah, I heard the discussion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll go to number 9 report, starting with the city council.
No report.
Ken?
No report.
Wow.
No report.
Your honor.
Been calling you that for 2 years.
Robert? Okay, well, there's report. I would like to find out if the county did get, I don't know if somebody from the county here knows that or not. We should know it though, because on Mr. Cheshire is concerned whether he got a permit. Do you know that, Jim? Brad, did you know anything about that?
The permitting process does not go through the city.
Commissioner, do you know anything about that?
Permitting of.
It's the pool, whether they take it out on a special permit or.
To my knowledge-
It's on limited property, he done it, it's not on city
For
property.
reasons,
That's incorrect.
Well,
For reasons known to those who pay attention to votes, I'm probably the last person who should speak to this. However, I will tell you what I know. I don't believe that the application for special use has yet been applied for. I know that, of course, it will be. There are a number of matters that I think have not been addressed yet, but will be handled timely. Matters of water, sewer, and parking, and things like that. It's a project. It's a big project.
yeah, it's a big project, and no ground's been broken off on the permit part.
Correct.
Yeah.
While the instructions that have been given to go ahead, I have no doubt that with the various professionals involved, it's going to proceed
Oh, sure.
as happens with a big project. Some work is taken care of as the project goes ahead,
Okay.
particularly with cooperation and professional service. I do want to add, because it was a matter earlier, when I looked at the assessors records, approximately 2/3 of the land now encompassed by the pool project are on school land. And the very generous, and I previously said that in the commission meeting, donation of land by Commissioner Flamich does make up approximately 30%. Now, what the legal status of that school land is, or prior commitments, or encumbrances on it, or restrictions on it, geez, I can't speak to that. While that contribution of land was large and substantial and valuable, it was not all of the land that the pool lies on, and I wanted to correct that from earlier. If it would be be helpful to the council, I'll be sure to submit whatever map I was looking at from Robert Bishop's office if it would further your work.
Yeah, I'll go check into that. If it would be school,
Pardon me?
it's in within the city limits.
As I understand. Yeah. And I'm not taking a position again on what the
No.
2/3 of land means, but I know that the assessed value on the piece of land that Mike Lemich gave at the time he gave it some years ago was large. I don't want to recite the amount because I don't sure I remember, but it was well in excess of $100,000.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add that I believe the land, the pool was originally going to be all on the land that Mr. Lemich donated, but the location of the pool has been changed. And I don't know if that's part of it is on school property or not.
Thank you, Mike.
Mayor?
Okay, yeah.
I can tell you this, I was talking to Chris Flannery, the building inspector today, or commission on this pool. This is still in the plan review stages. So this has not even been released for anybody to do construction yet. It is still in the plan review stages, so they're still working with the design professionals, that will be the architects, the engineers, to get things ironed out, to get them what they need. So that's the stage it's in as of today.
Yeah, I think everything will.
I can vouch for that. Having talked to Chris earlier today, that's precisely correct.
I think it'll all get worked out once they break ground, everything will be in place. Okay. And in City Hall, we have a new door out there. I gotta get the library on that whole thing, you know. Anyway, it's a very nice door. You can open it now. Where I couldn't open it anymore. And it's glass so you can look at it. It brings a little more light into that hallway. And you can see the nice picture of Jack Taylor, our chief of police up there. And a little bulletin board. I think it's kind of nice. Anyway, I just had to mention that because I think it was real nice. So. Otherwise, that's pretty much my report. So, and we'll go on to number 10, agenda item for the next regular city scheduled meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
I'd like to bring the Murray Street project, put it on the agenda, and see if we can help those people up on Murray, all the way up. They're riding on a crown road on Murray Street.
What project are you talking about?
I'm talking about one we're going to initiate, okay?
Paving Murray Street?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's campaigning. Give him a break here.
What'd you say, Jess?
I said for them to give you a break, you're campaigning.
No, I'm not. I'm talking to
All right. Any other items for the next one?
We will have your first reading of the cross-control ordinance. That'll be presented to the utility board.
And did you put B11 back on?
Anything else from you? If not, all right, we'll go on to public comment. The roll call stand under manual 8.04 of that open meeting. Public comment. So we have public comment. Now you all board.
This is continued from before, but I'm going to be questioned. The words ethics have been tossed around here and integrity. I would like to have seen some exercise when I was abused. Wanting to see public record, and when I objected to the building out at the landfill, Stark said he wrote a letter. Well, he signed the letter, he said he wrote it. But he was pushing the law. The law says this, the law says that. Go out there. He said the fencing was required. Go out. All that's fenced in is what he got. He got the new buildings. He got the dog pound, which is great for the dogs. But he didn't need what was there. But it is fenced in fabulously. The landfill, you walk around that. There's sometimes one barbed wire down in the middle. Sometimes there's two across from post to post. That is the lawn, and that's fenced in. Plus, I know he's got backing of Ivy, which used to be a name with a lot of integrity in this town. Used to be. Now the poor man made a mistake because he won't take a drug test when he's pulled over. What would happen happened to the rest of us we did. I never did get a straight answer. Why is he protected? He got a big kick out of the uproar when I tried to speak last time. I asked him how come he could have the water truck and be in conflict of interest. He said, well, when the city hired him, they couldn't pay him as much as the mine did, and he's got so many children. Well, why in the hell did he leave the mine if they could pay him what he thinks he's worth? I still have no answer. You talk about all this uproar and gossip and hearsay about candidates. Why don't you have somebody who knows what is really going on, who can communicate with the people, their electors, not their servants? And I almost felt he expected me to say, Hell Hitler, or Allah to him when I walked in. Because he has got that much influence and control over this city. And why, I don't see it. Now, I had one witness to when he denied me the right to public information. Regretfully, she committed suicide. But I was the only witness to the murder of my dog that was involved with the mess began. The other person involved was mad at me. And as a coincidence, within 24 hours, that dog was fed glass. I caught it, I fed him a lot of bread, and the vet has got a hell of a good pain shot that kills the pain for a week at a time. And I fed him egg yolks. The dog was getting better and better. This mess that I had to go to the city council for got worse. The same guy got mad at me again, and the second time he gave my dog rat poisoning.
All right, thank you for your comment.
No, I want some answers.
This is public comment. You're not going
you don't have to respect your public and your voters too. And I waited over 3 years.
I suggest you draft a letter and send it to me. I'll look into it. But right now, this is public comment, and your time's up.
I have commented to the deputy. By the way, when I went to file a complaint against him, the deputy said it wasn't for slander. That was not that deputy's place to, hey, it goes on deaf ears, just like it is now, and just like it has in all the past years.
Yeah. Jim?
Oh, it's not the good looking deputy. The sheriff said he would send me if I got it.
No, ma'am, I'm not going to have you over there. Oh, yeah, but I live for that. I live for that.
Hi, I'm going to.
Jim Lawrence again.
And by the way, he also campaigned for Reed. He backed up that old Congressman Reed with his opening statement about a letter.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of shame that we have to have councilmen going after ethics violations and that. And let's talk about full disclosure. Mr. DeCiano, Councilman DeCiano, when you was in discussion with Ely on water and Quadrant Mine, and you went ahead and made discussion, did you disclose the fact that your son worked for Ely on? Did he collect a check? And does he live with you? See, we can go up and down, each one of us. Go through the minutes. I've got 7 or 6 years worth of records that I can go through, and I can find a lot of things that went wrong. I think that if we have to stoop to hate each other so much that we have to go after a person individually, everything's wrong. There's nothing right. And I can go to each councilman here and I can look up enough information to find out where there might be a problem. There might be a problem with even the city staff. That I don't know. That's not what we should be looking for. Then when we talk about this Facebook issue and stuff, I personally try and, if I see something that I know is wrong, I try and set it straight on the Facebook. I try and tell them what goes on, how it should work, and everything. And yeah, I can make a mistake here and there. I'm not perfect. But these people are not intentionally trying to screw you guys over. Sure, there's a campaign going on. And I can understand the dissensions here and there. But one of the dissensions is totally this, is that the public right now does not trust the transparency from the city to them. They are your boss, but evidently they're thinking that you guys are putting yourself in the number one position when you should be in the third position. It should be the public, the staff, and then the elected people. Until you get in that position, you're not going to get any, you're going to get nothing but grief from these people. And I feel insulted when this can be included in something that I say. I would challenge any of you to see where I lie on these issues. Have any of you seen this is a question? Have you seen me lie on these issues?
No, I didn't, and I never said you did.
I know you didn't, but I'm just saying that I'm trying to stop the lights from going on shit. That's all. Thank you. You guys have a good day. And financial disclosure, go ahead and full disclose yourself, Ron.
Hey, can I respond to that?
So Chris, the Walmart.
Good afternoon. I'm Lynn Burley. I'm a resident of the city of Ely, and I don't care if I waste my money, but I care if you waste my money. And you do not have to hire an attorney if you want to file an ethics complaint. You don't have to investigate because they will do it for you. I have a little bit of experience, you might remember. So anyhow, I think it's a waste of money, of city money, to hire an attorney to do an ethics complaint. Thank you.
I'll have Jim contact you. I'll tell you that.
I'm sorry?
I'll have Jim contact you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else for public comment? Mike?
Hi, good evening. I'm Mike Coulter. I'm not a resident of Ely. I'm speaking here individually. More than anything, is a person who's a pretty active participant in this matter you're discussing about online information. And I want to save 30 seconds at the end for actually a topical issue involving the dog pound, so I'll try and be brief. I think there is kind of a perception of inaccessibility to city information, right or wrong. I think I agree vigorously with what Jim said, that sometimes you can suppress these things right at the outset. I was going to say something along these lines. I'm sure that the arrival of the mass printing press was really disturbing to the political environment. And many of us are old enough to know that the arrival of mass TV was a major factor in the elections of the early of 1960 and in the early 60s. Certainly we can't ignore the fact that the internet's a medium where people talk. And they talk a lot of trash, they talk a lot of confusion. I can't believe some of the repeating rumors that predate me by decades here. Oh, they've stolen this money again. Things that start with that. So we try and suppress that. Maybe sometimes just having an answer come to you helps people feel a little better and drop it. Now, you can't all put this into your lives, but I would suggest that you not be offended by it. And I think Audrey's trying to do a real fair broker job. And if there is something crazy that Jim doesn't address, doesn't know it, or I don't, or one or two of the other people that are pretty in the know, if you call me and I can put out the right information, I would be glad to. Or tell them where to get a document. It's already posted, or put that document right on. I do think that early suppression is like other things in life. If you can kill a problem or extinguish